Hi gang, welcome back to Waxing On. It is Monday, February 8th, and we've pretty much got a year in since COVID hit. I know we've been in isolation, my family, for 11 months now. Middle of March was the last we've really been out and around, so it's been a long year. And luckily I've had something to keep myself busy with here, going through my record collection and rediscovering some pretty interesting music. So this week we're going to look at some Canadian artists. We have over the past, we've mentioned a lot of them, a lot of artists out of the Toronto area. Today we're going to do a little bit of Toronto, a little bit out west and down east over the course of the week. So today is Toronto. And I'm going to look at a band that I first became aware of in the early 1980s. They were playing at a music convention, apparently a bar band around downtown Toronto, and had quite a following. And I'm talking of Shox Johnson and his Jive Bombers. Following up kind of like we did on Louis Jordan last week, and Shox put out two albums. First one, The Return of the Brocaded Adventurer. Now, just to give you an idea who the musicians are, in case some of you might recognize the names, to me they were all new. We got Shox Johnson on vocals, and Shox Johnson was actually a guy named Stephen Wilcox out of Toronto, but he had this persona of Shox Johnson. Let me just see now. We've got John Karpenko on trombone, Larry Kramer on trumpet. Saxes were Alex Dean and Del Daco, Martin Loomer on guitar, Chris Connor on bass, and Curtis Smith on drums. Now, this album, the first one, was actually recorded live in the studio. So basically it's a live album. Some of the tunes they're doing, you may recognize a few of them. Dancing Dogs, 36, 22, 36, Big Brass Bed, we got Big 10-inch Record, and Lavender Coffin. Side 2 had Greenbacks, Hey Baba Rebop, Them That Got, The Theme for Coleman Hawkins, and Bow-Legged Woman. Now, what I found interesting with this is not only was it a real great band. I mean, this band really could cook and really swing. And it was a nice jive group. Again, very similar to the Louis Jordan style thing. But doing some research on it, I also discovered another new musician. And this was, let me find his name here because it's very unusual, Bull Moose Jackson. Never heard tell of him before. Two of his songs are on the album. The Big 10-inch Record and Bow-Legged Woman are two songs that Bull Moose Johnson made famous. So I went back and I've really discovered myself somebody new to listen to and get into. He was big in the 40s. He did the same kind of jive thing. He was kind of like a forerunner of Louis Jordan, but unfortunately a lot of his music was very suggestive or very questionable, so he didn't get a lot of airplay. And if you listen to some of the songs, you'll see what I mean. But again, somebody interesting, and discovered him through Shox Johnson. So a lot of great tunes on here. Now, a lot of Shox Johnson stuff's not available. I went online to see if I could find it in the streaming networks on Amazon. This album was available on Amazon.ca as a used album. I think there was one copy out there. And a couple of the albums, if I just query them online, there are some used copies floating around. But, and this is just between us, Brocaded Adventurer, somebody's posted it on YouTube. If you go now, you can get the whole album, give a listen to this band. The whole thing is on YouTube. Shox Johnson and his Jive Bombers, Return of the Brocaded Adventurer. Check it out. Okay, the second album was actually the first one I bought. And this is Shox Johnson and his Jive Bombers, Professor Bop. And they've kind of locked in their sound. Again, a lot of the same people, Karpenko, Paul Morrow, Curtis Smith, Larry Kramer on trumpet, Del Daco, Bobby Bow, Martin Loomer, and Al Henderson. Now, some of these songs, again, maybe a little more familiar. We've got Professor Bop, Everybody Eats When They Come to My House, Blue and Sentimental, Better Get Hit in Your Soul. So we got a little Charles Mingus in there as well. King Porter Stomp, Give Me a Pigfoot and a Bottle of Beer, Chicken Ain't Nothing But a Bird, Rollin' With My Baby, and the Honey Dripper. So a little more mainstream, a little more recognizable tunes. Some of the still great stuff. It was recorded in 1983 in Toronto. Now, unfortunately, Steve Wilcox died a little prematurely, and this was the end of the band. The Jive Bombers are still together. Once in a while, I'll see them performing, or you'll see a video of them, but it's not the same without Shox Johnson leading it. So if you get a chance, check these out. Again, YouTube, get a chance to hear the first album. This one I have seen online through third-party sellers. Chance to check it out as well. And again, we get back to the idea of the discount bins. You never know what you might find. So while you're looking at this, Shox Johnson, give Bull Moose Jackson a chance too. Take a look and see what he's got. I mean, he certainly made his mark in a couple of tunes on the first album. I think there's one on this album of his as well. So something to take a look at. So that's it for Monday. Looking at Toronto, looking at a great local band that didn't get a lot of exposure or a lot of airplay, but they had some great tunes, and there is still a way to check them out. Okay, that's it for today, guys. We'll see you on Wednesday when we are looking at classic rock. Everybody have a great week, and we'll talk to you then.